I was a young boy when it happened, on a night a long time ago. I remember clearly the events and the fear that I had. Like most boys, I was alone, but very adventurous. I remember it was a beautiful day, and I wasn't going that far into the woods. I'd be home in no time. So I thought. I decided to take a nap in the nice warm sunlight. But my nap took longer than I expected. And when I woke up, the sky was black. Now I did try to find my way back home, but it's hard with no light. I wondered if I was heading home or farther into the forest, because I really had no idea which way it was. Were my parents looking for me? Did I even tell them I was going? Would they find me before the predators did? I knew we had coyotes and bear, but did we have wolves also? I had often heard howls at night in the great Northwest. For we do live in Washington State, and there's plenty of forest in this state of ours. I was lucky I found a structure and climbed up to the top of it. It was steady and quite tall. It got me off the ground and gave me a much better view. The sky was clear of clouds, and a bright moon shined overhead. I felt safe, but I was not. Soon I would find out why. I was scared. I had no idea if anyone would find me, so I cried. I was, after all, just a little boy. Now the insects and frogs, as well as the hoot of an owl, helped make me more relaxed. These things were no threat to me. But I got a feeling that something else prowled that night. I just couldn't see it. I finally managed to doze off, getting sleepy while I waited. And that's when I noticed everything had gone completely silent. At that point I knew my fear was real, and I was in danger. And I never knew about Bigfoot, dogmen, or werewolves at the time. I would soon realize what they were and how much of a danger they really are. My pulse began to speed up. My heart rate increased too. I really could not explain it, but I knew those eyes watching me from the woods. Quiet, deadly, waiting for me to turn my attention away so it could grab a quick snack. It watched me for a while there. And as I turned my back toward it, it struck. Something grabbed my leg and snatched me off the structure. I panicked and kicked as hard as I could, but it was not letting go. It lifted me high into the air, upside down, and held by my calf with a very strong hand. My heart jumped a beat, when I saw what monster held me. Tall and lean, covered in dark hair, and nails sharp and long, ended at his fingers. When I saw it had an odd-shaped head, and it took me to realize a moment that it was a wolf looking at me. I screamed when I saw his large white teeth as it grinned my way. It shook me violently as if I was a toy or a doll. I actually thought my leg was about to come off. No, this thing was going to eat me. I could feel it, but I couldn't stop it. That mouth full of sharp teeth lunged for me, but I did block it with my left arm. Oh, the pain I felt as all the bones in my arm was shattered. No, crushed. Whatever bit me was amazingly strong. I knew I was going to die. I was afraid, but I felt the darkness creeping into my mind, dragging me to a quiet, peaceful sleep, one I would never wake up from. We both heard it. A howl echoed through the trees. It wasn't a dog, nor a wolf. It sounded almost human, but was loud. So loud. I actually thought it was my dad, so I screamed as loud as I could. But what came running, crashing out of the tree line was not my dad. In fact, it was not human at all. It was a gigantic man, from what my little boy's mind could understand. It towered over the wolf, being just as tall, but a lot heavier than the creature that held me. Even though the body was covered in hair, it did not have long nails at the end of his fingers. And the face was like an ape or maybe a wild man. I don't know what it was, but apparently the wolf did not like it, and he threw me to the ground on top of my shattered, broken arm. The pain made me black out, and I knew I was going to be someone's dinner that night. But I lived, not sure if that was a good thing or not. Come find out, I'd been better off if I died that night. The ranger in his uniform was inspecting my arm. My parents arrived shortly later. They took me home. I had to stay inside, away from school, and I could only look outside for about a month. A month that I found I had a desire to go back to the woods. I would sit there and listen, swearing I could hear noises from miles away in the forest. That month was also just long enough for a full moon to come back. They should have left me for dead.